Hey guys, it's Captain Forest here. Today, I've got a spicy inverse matchup to go over. I've also got a guest on the channel. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Debater, the Apprentice, or Nomadic, and I'm going to be doing this collab with Force. It's going to be lit.
Awesome. So today's video, of course, as the title implies, it will be Spider-Man versus Black Panther. And me and Debater will be going over who we think wins more often than not. But before I start this video, I'd like to say a huge shout out to the coffee shop gang. Shout out to everyone. Check out the links. Shout out to Splash. Shout out to all the content creators. They make content quite similar to mine, so please check out those links in the description. I also have other links too if you guys would like to support me on a personal level. And also shout outs to also the other gang as well for helping out in this video too. But yes, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about Spider-Man, and then afterwards I'm going to go ahead and let Debater talk about Black Panther. Me and Debater individually will go over who we think wins more often than not. Starting off with Spider-Man, in terms of AP, he's got some pretty impressive scaling, so easily should have like at least city level scaling. You can arguably getting higher. You know, there's some like island level calcs, arguably even higher than that. He's consistently showing, like Peter is showing, that he can casually beat the absolute crap out of Venom. He's bodied the likes of Carnage, and Spider-Man has tanked city level explosions. So the AP is pretty consistent for Spider-Man being around those areas of attack potency. Of course, you can take it higher if you use like willpower Spider-Man. So what willpower Spider-Man is essentially is when Spider-Man is pretty much giving himself a massive mental amp where he's able to harm the likes of Herald Tears such as Thanos. He's able to physically hurt characters who are far above him in terms of AP. So definitely, so like Herald Tears, so that can range from like multiversal plus, or you can even get it higher sometimes depending on how you scale Marvel. You can even get it to high hyperversal. That's if you want to go that far. But for the low ends easily, or mid ends, you could argue like multi plus consistently for the Herald Tears. Now that's pretty much it for AP speed. Easily Spider-Man, at least for the low ends, has like FTL reaction speed, MFTL, there's calcs. He's been able to dodge light based attacks pretty consistently. There's also some immeasurable speed arguments. Spider-Man has consistently demonstrated that he can like react to Wolverine. He's blitzed Wolverine on many occasions. He's embarrassed him. The same Wolverine can literally tag like Gladiator, tag Thor. Thor can easily himself, he can time travel with his raw speed alone. He can tag Silver Surfer, and Silver Surfer himself can also time travel with his raw speed alone and move for linear time. So that's easily immeasurable speed. And all these other characters like Wolverine, Spider-Man, they've all been able to move inside limbo. Limbo is it's a realm which basically is it's like beyond the boundaries of time and space, so that's easily immeasurable speed. And these characters, even like Captain America himself, can like move and talk inside limbo, so easily, consistently, some immeasurable speed scaling. That's going to round up the speed. I'm going to talk about Spider-Man's other assets. Of course, Spider-Man does have his spider sense, which is his precognition. It allows him to predict any attacks before they occur. It's been demonstrated that he's been able to like things that are like far beyond normal, like precognition. Like he was able to detect like Doctor Strange's soul in the astral plane. He's been able to precog outside of time and space, precog like big like extra dimensional threats, crazy feats like that. He's been able to like see like different like future events, and he's been able to see like multiple possibilities, which allows him to make decisions before they occur. He's demonstrated this on many occasions, which makes the spider sense very impressive. The spider sense literally helps him a lot in combat, especially even outside of combat too. So this just shows how potent and crazy Spider-Man's spider sense can reach in terms of those levels of scaling. Of course, Spider-Man does have his spider webs, so those webs are pretty impressive. They're very strong, very durable. They're strong enough to bind the likes of Hercules, the Thing, even briefly hold back an annoyed Hulk, which is very impressive. Spider-Man can use his webs in different different ways. So he can use it as a shield to protect himself. He can use it to web people, web certain areas, such as like using it to BFR Wolverine when he like webbed up 2 rocks and used it as a slingshot. And you can also use his webs against you. This is like the creativity of Peter's webs. He was able to web up like Wolverine's arms in a way, so the claws would literally point to Wolverine's face. So if Wolverine was to activate those claws, it would literally stab him. He'd stab himself in the eyeballs and through the brain, which is just another showing of how impressive Spider-Man's like webs are. And they're just so durable, like very durable, and especially it's not even like the Human Torch can burn through those webs. The fire doesn't do anything to it. So that's just another impressive showing for the webs. And of course, Peter himself, has pretty good, decent stamina. He can fight for days, which is pretty impressive. So he can definitely keep going for long periods of time, especially in combat. And he also has his adaptation, so he can, as time progresses throughout the fights, he can adapt to situations. And it's also been demonstrated that he also has some kind of skill under his belt, which is the Way of the Spider, which is his own type of like skill where he's able to like implement it in fights, which is pretty impressive. So Spider-Man does have a lot up his sleeve. But yeah, that's gonna round up Spider-Man's like overall stats and abilities for now. I'm going ahead and moving on to Debater. He's going to talk about Black Panther.
All right. So for Black Panther, we of course have him scaling to the calcs that Forrest has said before, like the multi-city block calcs, and he even scales to large town level calcs, as he's consistently able to beat Deadpool. And Deadpool is a being that has directly tanked an explosion that was calced to multi-city block level. He scales to Wolverine, as he's fought Wolverine many times and has consistently been able to hurt him, been able to fight on par with Captain America, who's also been able to fight and damage Wolverine. So he should also scale. And his Black Panther has been consistently been able to fight all of these beings. Speed-wise, he has been able to basically dodge Wolverine, similar to Spider-Man. Spider-Man and him have both made Wolverine look slow at times, as they basically have blitzed each other. Well, not blitzed each other, no. Black Panther has basically blitzed him. Durability-wise, his suit has tanked hits and like hair level people, like Hulk before, fought in like Captain Marvel. And so the main thing about this, moving on to like his abilities, is that Black Panther, he basically has shown the ability to where like if you punch him, he'll like absorb the kinetic energy of the blow and basically nullify. Like he did this when he fought Namor, like a Herald tier level opponent, and Namor was basically punching him, and he was able to negate the energy and was able to store it in himself. And when he does that, he can fire it in an omnidirectional AoE attack. He can summon it in a long range frontal attack, or in fact he can like charge it into like his attacks. For example, like he absorbed some of the energy from Merge Sentry and was able to like apply it to a kick that was able to knock back Merge Sentry. Moving on, we have his energy daggers, which has basically has durability negation, as it was able to phase through adamantium, the adamantium head of Ultron. And we know from Wolverine's durability negation, adamantium claws, that adamantium has durability negation properties. And Panther's energy daggers was able to negate Ultron's durability and stab through his head. His energy daggers have also, given people brain damage. It's scrambled their brain. It's messed them up. It's cut like it was able to cut Claw, who was basically in like a sound non-corporeal form, and it was still able to cut through him, and was able it was basically like that. And he also has surprisingly underrated senses, as he's able to sniff using his sense of smell. He can sense if someone is lying. Sue Storm actually compares his senses to Daredevil's. So he has like a highly, even Captain America commented in the sense Cable has as well. And the last thing I will go over is his skill, as Black Panther is either top 3 or arguably the most skilled hero in Marvel, as he's shown that he's mastered every single martial art in the world. He scales to Captain America, who's able to adapt to every fighting style. That same Cap beat Taskmaster, who can break down fighting styles in seconds and adapt to it.
Now that everyone is familiar with both combatants and their stats and abilities and what they possess, I'm going to go ahead and break it down and see who would win more often, not an inverse situation. So of course, Spider-Man have his spider webs, he does have his spider sense, his speed, and the AP to also help him in this fight. He'd definitely be able to inflict damage to Black Panther. However, there is an issue here. Black Panther's suit is literally one of the most durable suits that I've ever seen in Marvel. Like, that thing can take hits from attacks from Hulk. It can absorb kinetic energies from hero tier characters. It's been demonstrated that the suit itself, it's literally absorbing attacks from Namor, and the kinetic energy that Black Panther can release from it is devastating. I think that because of how the suit works, it will simply nullify and absorb any type of onslaught of attacks that Spider-Man tries to throw at it. So it would essentially neutralize and nullify the win con for Spider-Man, such as incapacitation, since the suit would pretty much take on all the impact and all the abuse and the assault from Spider-Man's attacks. The webs at first could be a really good win con. You could argue that Spider-Man's webs could simply just web up a certain part, a certain limb on the suit, and it could cause Black Panther some problems. I definitely would agree it would. And you could just argue that he just throw him away or BFR him if the suit becomes too much for a problem. However, again, as mentioned, with the suit, it's far too durable. Black Panther would just have the AP advantage in terms of the suit. He could just flex the energy, he could just break out of those webs. If not, use his vibranium claws to just rip through those webs. Now, as for precognition, the Spidey sense is very impressive. It would definitely help Spider-Man in the fight if it came to Black Panther throwing out some concussive blasts or throwing a certain amount of blows. But the problem is, Black Panther himself has his own senses and precognition, which even rivals the likes of Spider-Man's. So the precognition aspect wouldn't be the biggest advantage going into this fight for Spider-Man, so they'd pretty much be relative. I would agree that Spider-Man at some points would have the speed edge, but the problem is, Black Panther has demonstrated to definitely keep up with Spider-Man in their fights. And if Black Panther was to utilize an area of effect with the kinetic energy blast from the suit, which in character Spider-Man would definitely perform physical attacks. He'd definitely try and knock out Black Panther. I don't think Spider-Man's going to be able to dodge a massive area of effect. He'd be able to he'd be able to dodge any straight concussive blasts, I would agree, but the area of effect would just be way too much. It would definitely tag Spider-Man, and there's only so much Spider-Man can dodge over time, so he'd just get nicked by an area of effect, and it just pretty much just be pickings for Black Panther. So I just think Black Panther would just neutralize any of Spider-Man's win cons. The webs wouldn't be too much of a big of a factor. They would annoy Black Panther more than anything, and the claws would be a massive issue. In terms of cutting force, it'd be, I think the claws, I agree with the beta that they're more potent than adamantium, as it's been demonstrated that the suit has been able to literally eat attacks from Wolverine's claws, and the cutting force and the intangibility hexes that the vibranium daggers and the claws contain. So it'd be able to slice through Peter like butter pretty consistently, pretty easily. Like there's no way Spider-Man's going to be able to protect himself from such an attack. So overall, in my opinion, and also like just going off their fights, going off whatever they possess, and going off things from an objective standpoint as well, I would have to lean more so to Black Panther more often than not, especially with the current suit with the celestial energy, way too durable, has a durability edge, the claws, he'd pretty much just nullify a lot of Spider-Man's equipment and abilities and his AP. So I'm going to go ahead and give this to the beta, and he's going to go ahead and explain his reasons, who he thinks wins more often than not.
Alright, so for me, I agree with pretty much everything that Forrest said. So I'm going to say this, I'm going to bring up something a bit different. So here's this thing. So let's look at it like this. So Spider-Man has two main ways to win. Either something that would use his webs, or B, his physicality, like his raw punches. So we've seen that when Spider-Man, he's like on the ropes, he's about to die, all that different stuff, that he'll get like a rage boost that greatly like increases his physical strength, which allows him to win a lot of his fights, even the ones he's losing. Like for example, with Rhino, he was getting beat up by Rhino. Rhino's gonna kill him. Rage boost beats him. The same thing happened with Carnage. The same thing happened with Red Goblin. This happens pretty consistently with Spider-Man. But the problem here is that these guys, they didn't have a way to deal with the punches, so they just eventually got knocked out. Panther, on the other hand, he has a way to deal with it, because the angers Peter gets, and the stronger he gets, it sounds like Hulk, but it's not. It's like, thing is the more he punches the suit, the more energy is going to be absorbed, and Panther will just keep expelling them out. So the more he tries to do that, the more he's going to get attacked. So it's not going to be favorable to him. So his two win cons are gone, because the webs, they get cut by his energy daggers or his claws. Like the claws have cut through Immortal Hulk before. They could cut through the webs. And final thing, I want to talk about their characters. So Spider-Man, sometimes he'll use a mix of range attack with his webs, or close range objects, or his close range weapon, or his close range hands and fists. He'll flip around. He'll do all this other stuff, which Panther is also agile, so it won't be too big of an issue. But here's the thing: if we're in a scenario where they're in character and willing to kill, standard battle assumptions, I think Panther is going to go for the kill a whole lot quicker than Spider-Man, because the thing about Black Panther is that he has a higher killer instinct than the rest of some of the other street level heroes. The only people that I would say maybe has a street level hero that has a bigger killer instinct is probably either Moon Knight or Wolverine. But he has a high killer instinct, so that would allow him to be, okay, I'm going to take you down now, brutally and efficiently, faster than Peter Parker would be. Oh, I'm going to go super rage mode, because that usually only happens when he's getting beat up or about to die. Panther usually goes viciously, a good portion in the fight, way sooner than Peter has. So I believe that part of their characters is also in favor of Black Panther, because the level of gear that could beat Peter, he'll start using them more, and so using them more aggressively quicker than Spider-Man will go into his bloodlusted rage state. And even if he enters a bloodlusted rage state, we already established how Panther would get around it nonetheless. So that's why I have to give this fight to Black Panther.
The suit would just simply absorb all of Spider-Man's attacks. Black Panther has the durability edge. He also has the claws, the AP necessary to take down Spider-Man, especially with the durability negation. He also has the skill edge too, knowing all forms of martial arts. Vastly skilled, way skilled than Spider-Man, and even if it came down to just skill, I would just go to Black Panther more often than not, all the time. And simply put, he just has everything, just better counters, better win cons, and better ways to neutralize Spider-Man. So overall, I just have to give it to Black Panther more often than not. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like, comment down below, let me hear your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.